Hey guys, it's J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13 here.
And Willis.
Dude, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Do you want to tell people who you are? If they don't know?
Yes, my name is Willis Pate, and I'm from Alaska. I love playing video games, like playing guitar. I like traveling and meeting new people. And then I met you guys.
Yeah, uh, do you want to say do you just want to clear the air now and tell everyone how you say your Twitch and your Twitter name?
Yeah, sure, because different people have said different things, and actually only one streamer I I follow have actually pronunciated it right, but it's W Pate IV because I'm the fourth.
So it's WPIV.
Yes.
Okay. Well, on that note, guys, this is it. No. Thank you for listening. Oh, wait, nope, that's the end. Blue Mobile Central. So, welcome to episode 12 of the Life of Seals podcast, entitled Until Dawn Review, chapters 6 through 10. So, Willis, before we get into Until Dawn, there's just something we have to address. So, can you bear with us for a minute?
Sure.
So, how do I put this? We are saddened to announce this, but because of uncontrollable circumstances, Charlotte and Coffee are no longer with us. Those circumstances will not be displayed. We are sorry for the reasons because of those circumstances, and we wish them the best of luck in anything they do. And when we see them in everyone's stream, we'll certainly say hi to them and we'll shout them out. But because of uncontrollable circumstances and uncontrollable situations and emotions, we have to say that, and we've all talked about it and we've all decided that it's in everyone's best interest if we let Charlotte and Coffee go, and if they go, and this was their decision too. So, Steven?
I have one question for Willis.
What's up?
Do you like pineapple pizza?
This has nothing to do with it. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, J-Man usually asks the question, do you like pineapple pizza?
At some point I was going to, but we're in an emotional scene and you just completely derailed it, so I'll say it again. So, since Steven fucks everything up,
yes, really.
What I'm gonna say is that it was agreed on with all parties. We all talked about it, and we all decided that it's in all of our best interests to move on from each other. And we wish each other the best of success in whatever we try and accomplish. We'll miss Coffee and we'll miss Charlotte, and thanks for everything you did, guys. Steven?
Yes?
Now, do you want to, without asking Willis another random-ass question, say goodbye to talk about Charlotte and Coffee for a minute?
Coffee and Charlotte, I didn't know too long, but I would like to say that I enjoyed the pleasure of being able to work with them. And I just want them to know that even though they're not with us anymore, they're not just coworkers, but they're like family.
Yeah, and we that is all. That is all. Podcast over. Go home, Willis. No.
Yeah, life feels all right.
I told you it gets emotional, man. You agreed to this. Uh, let's talk about how me and Willis met each other real quick. Um, this is too
Okay.
personal, man. Uh, we met
And
each other.
you timed this right after I just got done playing Life is Strange 2.
Um,
Right in the feels, man.
right in the fields. This is why I can't think of a better name for this podcast because it literally is just flat out feels. Um, so yeah, so piggybacking one more time, Charlotte Coffee, thanks for everything, and we love you. So now, uh, so a couple nights ago, I went into Tony's stream, and Tony told me that I can promote because Tony's really nice, and he's told us we can promote whenever, and I promoted. And Willis was like, "What is this random ass link in this chat?" And I was like, "It's a podcast." And then he messaged me, "What did you say? Did you say, is this a real thing?" Or something like that. And I was like, "Yes, this is a real podcast." And then, like, we started whispering each other on Twitch. And, like, that was how that happened. And then we talked about how it worked time-wise, how you sort of have some connections with people. That's not why you're on here, but we've talked about it. And, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Willis can already tell this is a train wreck, so I hope he enjoys train
Yippee-yi-yay.
wrecks. I hope he enjoys train wrecks, and we'll see what happens. And I
Well,
just want
hopefully
to
the
play.
train wrecks are as good as Red Dead Redemption 2 train wrecks.
I can't promise that. What I can promise is, and I want to clarify this too because I know people are gonna ask. Um, Willis was not as much as it's going to seem like it, and Willis, sorry if you thought you were. Willis was not a knee gut reaction to everything that happened and to us losing Charlotte and Coffee. So don't try and think we're trying to replace them. We've told them we're not trying to replace them in our hearts. They can never be replaced. What they did, they can never be replaced. But in life, you gotta move on. And we've decided that Willis is the next best person that can help us move on. So on that sad note, as we all cry again in Life is Feels episode 12, let's get to Until Dawn. Willis says he doesn't remember much, but we're gonna I'm sorry, I don't speak English. We're going to rekindle some of his thoughts. So, um, do you remember, Steven, do you want to go over the main points of the first 5 chapters with Willis and see what he remembers and if he has comments on it?
Okay, so we talked about the twins at the cabin and how there was some mystery stalker outside. A prank was pulled on Hannah, who ran into the woods. Beth follows her to try and help her out. Something spooks them. They fall off the cliff. They die.
Well, I was gonna say you let him give your reactions to each thing, not just go through everything we talked about.
That was the first thing, the prologue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is the beginning of the game.
Thoughts on the prologue, Willis?
Yeah, keep the train rolling.
Keep the train rolling. So you're happy that Hannah and Beth died? What is that supposed to mean? What?
Steven and I are kind of similar as far as dark humor, so No, I'm not happy that they died, but that is a story on that.
Okay. Other main points we talked about, Steven?
I do have one thing to say to Hannah and Beth. Look out below. Okay, no, that's not funny.
Oh, Jesus.
Chapter 1, we went over Sam meeting Chris and the shooting range, meeting new people, finding out that Jess was now dating Mike, which is Emily's ex, and the big snowball fight scene between Mike and Jess.
Okay.
That's chapter 1. Your thoughts?
Thoughts exactly, and where particularly?
Like, just overall.
Yeah.
Did you kiss
Okay.
Mike? Or did you kiss Mike, or did you grab a snowball?
I've done it. I've done both ways. I've gone through the game multiple times in the past and done different routes. So I think the first one, I kissed Mike.
Okay, let me ask it in a different way. Which one did you love doing more?
This is a train wreck.
Okay,
ahead.
so the one I like doing more is probably I'd probably say the snowball one, where you snowball them.
Yeah, I like that more too.
I went
Why
for the
do you like
kiss.
it more?
I've only played it. I haven't finished my second playthrough, but both times I kissed Mike, and there's a reason for that. And if you figure it out, props to you. But I'm not giving that away because that's basically
Because you like seeing people make out.
no. Well, yes, but that's not the point.
This is the end,
No,
folks.
no, there's a great reward for if you get Mike and Jess to like each other enough.
Oh,
I'm not
is
gonna
there?
get
Yeah, I know
I'm
what you're
not gonna.
talking about.
I'm not gonna spoil it for people. If you figure it out, good job. So we move in.
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about now. Okay, sorry, keep
Yes,
going. It took me a minute to figure it out, but I figured it out. I'm a little slow sometimes.
chapter 2. Chapter 2 was about the lodge, the fight in the cabin, Matt meeting Ashley for the first time, and everybody just going into the lodge. Any thoughts on that?
I think Emily got really, really jealous there and kind of overdid that. That created that scenario.
Party like porn stars. I got that.
That sounds like a Josh statement there.
Yeah, that was something me and J-Man were talking about if your sisters died 1 year ago and at the same cabin, the last thing you want to do is party like a porn star.
I mean,
I don't think I can even bring myself to go back to that cabin after that.
Exactly.
right? That's what I said. Like, how do you even go back to that? Like,
I would have
not
zero
just.
testosterone when I get there.
I'd be scared shitless. I'd be like,
Yeah, I
what
would be
the.
too. I'd be like going through a PTSD moment.
I like
Tell
you,
you what,
Willis. I like you. Don't mess it up. No.
I'll tell you what, the
Uh,
sex better be pretty golden if I'm going to that place again.
oh, Jesus Christ.
So-
I'm gonna pretend you said size and not sex, and we're just gonna move on.
okay.
That actually sounds worse.
So, Willis, did you have any thoughts on any of the characters by this point? I know a lot of people
By the end of chapter 2.
Yes, I know by the end of chapter 2, everybody's usually saying that Emily's a bitch.
That is an automatic target that she kind of gave herself. Yeah. See,
What's all that noise, dude? What are you doing?
I'm on a beanie bag enjoying this wonderful chat with you guys.
No, what's all that noise you're doing? Oh, you're sitting on a beanbag?
A beanie bag, yeah.
Oh, you're making a bunch of noise that audibly sounds like shit.
I forgot we're recording too.
That's okay. Rookie mistake. I'll accept it. Don't do it again. No, I'm kidding.
Well, take
yeah.
it from yeah.
So
Thoughts
the
on
other thing,
Emily?
Hmm?
Thoughts on Emily?
On Emily?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when I first
Like,
played it through, I didn't like her right away. That was the instinct right there. I didn't like her. Um, well, but at that time, when I first played it through, I was like, I hope she dies. And that was my thought at the time.
Trust me, you're not alone on that one.
yeah,
Well,
Um,
I'm
yeah.
glad to know that I got back up there.
okay. Did you have a favorite character by this point? One that you were
I,
particularly connected with?
yeah, I'd say Sam because Sam seemed like she was the one to try and keep everyone together.
Okay, fair point.
That's what I had said. That's what I said to him, and he's like, "Yeah, but even Sam's crazy." I'm like, "No, I like Sam. Sam tried to keep people together, man."
Okay, the other thing in chapter 2 I wanted to address is the scare scene in the basement. Now, did that get you, or were you like expecting it?
Well, it's tricky the first time playing this game. You're expecting jump scenes, but even when you're expecting it, still got me.
Right.
So yeah, it got me first time. Yeah.
Okay. Now, see, I,
Got
I
me
go
too.
through a lot of I got through a lot of horror stuff, so surprisingly, that did not get me. But I will tell you, in the first chapter, or when Chris goes to de-ice the locks, that got me.
Yeah,
So
Are you talking about the Wolverine part?
yes.
Yeah, that one can. Yeah, that one came out of nowhere.
yeah, that was kind of awkward.
So
I was just like, what?
yeah, yeah, I saw. Dang. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
You know what's more exciting is I just recently had a friend of mine play through it, and he is a really gullible person that scares with anything. So this was the perfect game. I broke his boundaries too, and he
Those are the
jumped a lot.
people.
He jumped a lot worse than I did. And
Yeah,
he's
those are
like,
the people.
Willis, why are you making me play this game? I'm like, because it's funny watching you jump.
Right. That's why I watch a lot of streamers playing this for the first time, because it's so hilarious to see their reactions.
I know.
So now chapter 3 starts off with them finding the spirit board. Did you have any thoughts on the spirit board as to it telling them to go to the library and them actually wanting to go to the library, or your thoughts on when you found out it was Beth or Hannah?
Oh, the Ouija board. I remember, yeah, it starts that chapter like that. Okay. Hmm.
The Ouija board. Okay, can we clarify one thing? Apparently Steven doesn't believe in ghosts.
They're spirits.
Is that what you said?
I said they don't prefer to be called ghosts, they prefer the term spirits.
Yeah. Okay.
I also said that they don't work, but at the same time, me and my cousin have wanted to try one. But just in the interest of being wrong, we're not going to try it.
Yeah, that's probably the best idea.
Hmm. What are
Now
my
you're
thoughts? I'm trying to reflect to when I first played it because I want to kind of give I guess, the vulnerable perspective when you first play something through because it was a couple years ago when I first played it. So really digging back into my memory doing this.
You agreed.
what?
So,
I'll tell you
well,
what I think.
I think the first time I played it, I felt like there's something to be suspicious of that, of like it was a setup when I first started playing that, and I started with the Ouija board, and when I saw Josh leave, and just how that whole scene was going, I felt that there was some kind of setup, but at the time I didn't know what the setup was.
Okay. We'll
Okay.
eventually get to the setup.
Hmm.
Once we start chapter 6, we'll get to the setup.
Okay. What was your thoughts about it saying that there's proof in the library, and Ashley says, "So Shalon, I think we should do what it says. Let's go to the library." Now, see, me and J-Man have both said if we're playing a spirit board and there's a pointer that flies off the table, we are not going to the library.
No, I'd burn the Ouija board if that was me. So
I would go to the library, but I'd take the Ouija board and light it on fire on top of the roof.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is I've seen many shows. Ouija boards, true Ouija boards, do not burn. And that's the weird part.
Fuck my life. I mean, life is feels, everybody.
Yeah, life is scary podcast. That's a new one.
So after the whole library adventure being talked about, there's the big sex cabin scene between Jess and Mike.
Big size cabin? Okay, no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
One thing we talked about was the nasty, crusty couch that nobody would want to sleep on, let alone have sex. Your thoughts on?
You know, when I got there, I don't know why they didn't move to the bedroom.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
But what does the bedroom look like, though?
You helped me kind of remember that part because it was on the couch when they were going for it, and I actually forgot. I thought about that at the time. I said, "Why weren't they on the bed?"
I didn't notice that. I was just like, all right, Jess is horny. She's ready to get it on. Let's go.
Okay, this is a PG-13 Christian Minecraft server. I'm going to ask you to stop. Oh, man.
This would be perfect to have Kate Marsh in this stream to keep us in balance.
We're hoping to get there one day.
Yeah, well, we're not going to touch on stuff like that right now. I feel like it's with recent events, it's a bad time to touch on stuff like that. So yeah, moving on. Thanks, Willis, for making us feel emotional again.
So, chapter 4 is mainly, they continue the search for the library. They get to the library. I didn't address that too much because I wanted to leave that open to players. But the trap, where you find Ashley and Josh strapped to a board and possibly sawed. Who did you save? I went for Ashley without question.
That was mine too.
Same.
Now, did you think they were actually going to show him being sawed in half, or were you just like, it's all a fake?
What I thought at the first time was probably when the saw was about to get to him, it'd stop for some miraculous reason. But when I saw that it went through, and I'm like, oh, this game is getting really gory like the Saw movies.
Right? That's what a lot of people say when they see the Saw. Oh, Saw movie.
Yeah, see, we just needed that tone of voice.
Right. Now, see, I put myself, I'm one of these people where I'll put myself into the mind frame of the character. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this looks so painful.
Steven, check your Discord messages real quick. You got me? Let's start.
Okay.
So yeah, you okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, real quick. Yeah, I agree with Steven. I thought seeing the Saw and seeing actually like the blood and gore is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't think they were gonna go that far.
Well, I mean, it is rated M for mature. It's got a skull on the front cover.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I felt there was PG-13 games, or not PG-13, rated T if we're talking video games. Rated T, and then you see some skull and a little bit of blood.
Yeah.
Huh. I see. I didn't know that. But
keep going.
Interesting tidbit before we move forward. Originally, this was made for PS3. They wanted to do it in first person. If you go on YouTube, you can actually see the PS3, PS4 comparison, and it'll actually show you there was 2 different casts. the PS3 was cast, and then the new PS3 or PS4 rather, the PS4 cast a whole new cast, in exception of two characters. They kept Chris's character on, and they kept Mike's character. Everybody else had a new voice actor. So I thought that was interesting. If you want to go look it up, it is quite an interesting reel. But so finally we get to chapter 5, where Mike is exploring the sanatorium. I didn't go too much on that. Just the fact that he starts figuring out that there's some stuff going on at the sanatorium and some bodily experiments. Did you have any thought on the creepy part?
That brought the eeriness up by a lot by then, actually, and especially when you see like the old clips.
Yeah,
the old clips, and then it got my heart racing that much more.
Right.
The
other thing,
that's where and I'm like just kind of baffled at that point.
Okay. The other thing about Mike in the sanatorium was there is a spot in the sanatorium, which I will not say where. You have the chance to befriend a dog. Now, did you make friends with this dog, or did you miss that opportunity?
Oh, you mean the wolf?
Dog, wolf, same pack.
Yeah,
Not
true.
the same thing, man. No, I'm kidding.
Wolves are wild, undomesticated dogs.
So, yeah, when you befriend it, then it becomes domesticated as a dog, yeah.
Well,
yes, I befriended the wolf and turned it into a dog, yes.
Okay. This is beside the point, but I have a little bit of Cherokee background, and I found out if you're 25% or more Native American, you can actually own a wolf as a puppy. But you still have to be careful. They're used as basically work animals, because if you don't keep on a strict schedule and keep them busy, they do have the option of turning. So, the final thing we have is Sam being a victim.
Okay. I feel like we should address this because Willis is new and we didn't really. So the order that we usually do stuff is Steven describes what's going on, and then I make a comment, and then you can make a comment. Okay, just so we don't like over talk each other. Is that all right?
Sure. You guys are steering the ship here. I'll just follow you guys.
Okay.
So the final thing we have in chapter 5 is Sam coming face to face with a new assailant that we don't know who it is, but it's definitely different from the guy we've seen before, the flamethrower guy. This is a new person that has not yet been identified. We don't know who they are. But she ends up having a chase throughout the lodge. Now, did you get captured, or were you able to escape being captured by this person?
Not to mention,
go ahead.
I escaped the first time.
Okay. What about the second time?
I purposely let myself get captured.
So, what was your feelings about the big chase? For me, it was, oh my God, I've got to press things really quick, or this could go very wrong.
There's the adrenaline of that. Of course, I want to make note one thing of this game that was really good throughout every episode is the eeriness of the music that adds that intensity to these chase scenes and pushing button scenes quickly. That, because I'm a music guy, I listen to those things. So to me, that music really gets you every time you get ready for those chase scenes. And
now we know why you like Life is Strange.
Yeah, true. And but anyway, the first time I escaped. Second time, I purposely let myself get caught. But I don't know if this is something appropriate to say, but I think Sam was in a towel at that point too.
Yes.
We
were talking about
a towel.
Yeah, we were talking about the gravity-defying towel.
Yeah.
That it seems to happen in these scary scenes. I guess adrenaline does that to you; it just sticks to you.
Apparently, so does the
Also,
towel.
she was in the bathtub at 2 a.m, but I digress.
Yeah.
The other thing we were talking about is that me and J-Man were both hoping the towel was going to eventually fall off, which it did
No,
not.
you said that. Those exact words never came out of my mouth. I may have thought them.
No, you
But they
said,
never-
and I quote, yeah, I was kind of hoping too, but moving on.
Oh, man. Life is jail sentences. No, I'm kidding.
So that brings us up to chapter 6. Dun, dun, dun!
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, you did it. Oops. Oh, well.
Double the pleasure, double the scares.
You
So,
know, we can tell you
so
guys
in
been together for a while, so
Right. So chapter 6 starts off with Chris and Ashley. They're searching around through the kitchen. They find a hit list with a list of all the friends with X marks and pictures of the friends put up on this board. So they start to freak out a little bit. And now this is where a lot of people differ, because there is a room in the corner, and it's not mandated or forced that you have to go into this room. But if you do go into this room, it basically shows you the video that Matt was recording from the closet in the prologue. So, with that being said, Ashley and Chris, they go through the search for getting Sam out of the house, out of this lodge, because there's a guy running around, sawing people in half, and rightfully so. I'd want to get out of there too.
Supposedly.
Well, yeah, but during their hunt for Sam, they both get captured, and they are put into another test.
All right, can we? Oh, we're getting there, so I'm just gonna wait because I really want to cover this.
So they wake up.
Willis knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, we all know. You've said it numerous times. So they wake up and there's 2 saw blades over their head. Ashley and Chris finally admit to each other that they do like each other, which, 6 chapters later.
Feels, man.
This is way overdue. But this time, instead of choosing which one to saw in half, you have the option of choosing to shoot Chris or shoot Ashley, or the buzzsaws will kill you both, or you have the option of shooting one or the other. Now, see, me personally, I chose to shoot Chris because, 1, Ashley was too pretty to die, and 2, if Chris is going to be in a relationship... I do like Ashley. But that's because I used to watch her character growing up. Where was I going with this? Okay. But also, if Chris is going to be the boyfriend to Ashley, he would be the sacrificial one to say, you know what, I'm the man, I'm not going to do this to her, I will take the bullet. So I actually chose to pull the trigger at Chris. And it didn't really do too well because the blade still came down and you hear him scream anyway.
Okay, so in order wise, I'm next. I'm not trying to call you out, Willis. I'm just making sure you get it. Sorry. I shot Chris.
Okay.
Mainly because I think Ashley's hot. No. I shot Chris because I thought Chris was man enough to take the bullet. And I really don't think there would be any other reasoning except that Chris was man enough to take the bullet, and he should have taken the bullet. And in my playthrough, he did take the bullet.
The interesting thing about that, though, and I made the same choice. I chose. It's a sacrificial thing, and as you guys were both saying, and I agree. I think one thing to make note of Chris's character throughout the game, he was kind of he pretty much was, kind of being a chicken with Ashley. Like, Josh was always pressuring, hey, man, go for it. And he kind of was hesitant. and being put in these really tough situations forced him to kind of make the move.
Yeah.
See, for
So you-
now, for me, it was she's like, we're always talking around it, and he's saying, I should have told you how I felt. And by this point, I'm thinking to myself, it's a little too late now, dude. You should have said this like 3 chapters ago. But the reasons for that will be in a couple chapters, people. I don't want to disclose that too much yet. But I was pure Team Chris and Ashley. So did you guys have any other thoughts before I move forward?
Of which one we thought was a good team, or
the Saw Blades trap and how long it took them to become a couple. Your thoughts about the couple? Like, I was Team Ashley and Team Chris the whole way.
I don't think I had a specific team I looked at. I was just enjoying the game at the time.
Well, I know by this point, and this is not yet to the point of where we're getting, but I know a lot of people, even before this point, said that Matt should have dumped Emily, and Matt deserves so much better, because Emily, to me, in chapter 1, when you were meeting Emily for the first time, she was having Matt carry the bags, and I'm like, okay, this woman is very stuck up and very high maintenance. And then as you progress through the chapters, you realize Matt is like, being walked all over like a rug. And it's like, dude, stop letting her do this. So I wasn't so much I was like most people. I was not fond of the whole Matt and Emily relationship. So that only left pretty much Ashley and Chris, or Mike and Jess. And Jess, to me, was like the ditzy blonde. She was very loose. Like, she's... Oh, I don't really want to put
say
a
Mike
label on
and Jess or Mike and Jeff? Because I am not comfortable with that.
Mike and Jess. My goodness. But, I mean...
Willis is why did I agree to this?
Yeah, I mean, Mike and Jess were a nice couple, but Mike came off strong as a jerk in the beginning. Jess, pretty much most of the time that you get with Jess through the first half, she's a ditzy blonde. She's very loose and ready to go, hot and heavy all the time.
Wow.
Oh, it's true. Don't lie.
Yeah, life feels all right.
Yeah. So,
are you gonna?
Anyway,
is that your new gimmick? Hold on. Is that your gimmick, or are you just gonna be like, every episode you're gonna be like, yeah, life feels, man?
I sometimes come in at the very most out of context time, so that's kind of how I
am. As long as you're not mocking the actual title of the thing and you're actually having fun.
That's all I do is have fun.
Okay. Yeah, we're not trying to knock you or anything. We're having fun.
We're having fun is what we're doing.
Okay. Speaking of knock knock, we get Ashley and Chris through the basement in the last part of chapter 6. And Ashley and Chris are exploring the basement.
We're getting there. I can't contain myself. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They're exploring the basement, trying to locate, what's happened to Hannah and Beth. And Ashley sees what she seems to be a ghost, which I was not fond of the word, but Chris.
It's pronounced the spirit, man.
Exactly. Chris doubts her for, the first 3 or 4 times because he didn't see it. But he eventually sees it, and they are led to Hannah's diary. And you read Hannah's diary, and the highlights of this diary, if you want to read it all, be my guest. But basically, with Mike, she's obsessed with Mike. She doesn't want to let her feelings go. In her room, you find a clue about her getting a butterfly tattoo, and I mean, she's gone all out for Mike. She's gotten this tattoo. She's taken love quizzes. She's wanted him to RSVP to her birthday party. She's writing down OMG, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's part of the reason she fell for
Oh
this.
my goodness.
This is part of the reason she fell for the trick from Mike in the beginning. So, that's when they go into, yeah.
That's when they go into yeah. How do you go into a yeah?
Well, that's
Life
the
is
ending of.
feels.
I didn't realize it was the end of chapter 6. So, did
This
anybody
is a
have
clusterfuck.
any?
Life
can
is
say it,
mood.
What?
Life is mood.
Life is a mood, man.
So, did you guys have any thoughts as far as the spirit running around or the Hannah's diary?
When I first played it, I thought that was Hannah itself, and that's kind of really when my attention span got really focused with fear. When I saw that, and when I saw the little dollhouse.
Right.
Yeah. That got my attention with fear too.
See,
I was like,
now I thought it looked like Hannah
go ahead.
myself, but yeah, I thought it was Hannah myself, but at the same time, I was like, what the heck is going on here? And I've seen a lot of streamers who are like, wait a minute, there's ghosts in this game now, and it's like, okay,
It's
I guess.
pronounced spirits, man.
I'm not gonna misquote a character though. That's the sucky part.
Yeah, this game has a lot of uh, different elements of surprise of that makes you think, and a lot of cliffhangers.
Yeah,
I
like too
know.
many.
Yeah, I know. With your therapist, they really drive home the fact that you're insane and things, and this whole thing is just out of hand, not normal. Made up.
Yeah.
Speaking of therapists, are we going to mention that part of the game?
Um,
I thought we
there are a
already
few.
did.
Yeah, there's a few key points that I've made, like who you like the most, your biggest fears. I mean, those are.
Right. When you go through the questions with them, okay.
Yeah,
We'll
I mean,
get to him. We'll get to him more later, right? We're gonna talk. I kind
yeah.
of want to talk about that.
I'm trying to keep it to the main points, not like all these nitty gritty things, like
Yeah,
what.
but when we get to the end, we'll.
Well, yeah, then we have to, because he's more of a big part.
Yeah.
Um.
Uh,
So
Can we get into? Can we just break the hatchet now? Hey
not
guys,
yet. Not yet.
chapter 7. No.
Yes, chapter 7 is where it happens.
Willis
So
is like, what did I get myself into?
I know you're chomping at the bit. Just relax yourself for just like 5 minutes. So chapter 7 begins with Mike locating Sam. He frees Sam, or well, either way, he talks to Sam. But Sam ends up opening the door to let Mike in because it is locked from the outside, from the inside. And she decides to drop the towel and get dressed. And no, people, you do not see her getting dressed. That being said, they
would say something like that.
Well, I mean, come on. We've already discussed, the gravity defying towel, the hot and heaviness of the sex cabin. I want people to feel comfortable that they don't see anything. Anyhow, they go into the other room
This is a great way to convert a rated M game to a rated T based podcast.
That is my goal. Yes. Doesn't fit every situation.
I applaud you for the effort of filtering that. I really do, because I honestly don't think I'd be able to.
That's why he carries the storyline, and I don't, because I wouldn't be able to either.
So I am eternally grateful for you for making this train stay on the trails or the tracks here. So
right,
yeah.
But they end up going into the room, and you see that neither Ashley or Chris are harmed, and that the gun is filled with blanks.
Question mark. Sorry.
The gun is filled with blanks, and the killer comes out,
I did it.
and
I'm the killer.
he unmasks himself. Now, before we
It's
get
me.
to who it is,
It's me.
J-Man, you'll have to wait just a little bit longer.
Oh,
Before we
fuck you.
reveal who it is, any thoughts to finding that Chris and Ashley were not harmed and that the gun was filled with blanks?
I'll go first. Well, actually, no, Steven, you can go first. What did you have any?
Well,
What?
honestly, when I first saw him shoot the saw blades and it didn't show any sparks or ricochet, I was like, okay, maybe the saw thing is, just it went into the metal and it just got stuck there. But
That's what I thought.
when he came out and he's just shooting, and they're like, "Oh, you've heard of blanks before, right?" And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, son of a bitch." That was my initial reaction. I'm like, shoot him. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Willis?
Well, I guess my first thought would be towards J-Man here. Go see a therapist for admitting you're that person. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Right? I need a therapist for more than just that, apparently.
So my thoughts on that. When the saws stop, as I mentioned before, I felt like there was a suspicion of a setup, and that made it a little more clearer in my mind at that time that there was a setup.
Right.
And I tried to shoot the crazy person too, and I saw the mask come off. I'm like, oh, and that actually.
How did you try and shoot me, man? Why would you try and shoot me?
Because you admitted that.
Well, that brings me up to my next. That brings me up to my next. The big reveal of who set this all up.
Wait, are we still in chapter? We're still in chapter
7. Yes.
All right, I gotta go now, guys. See ya.
So, yeah.
Peace. I'm out.
It finally reveals who the big villain is, and the one who set this all up is J-Man for his podcast. No, I'm just kidding. It is none other than.
Wait, hold up. This has all been a scheme. These whole 12 episodes was just to get you guys to fall into my trap. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, no, life is whoa now.
Life is what?
Whoa, like shock.
J-Man, is it really necessary that we reveal this, or should we let them figure it out on their own?
Okay, we can talk about. I mean, okay, I'm pretty sure anyone.
I'm kidding. It's Josh. The whole time it was Josh, the brother, Josh.
Fuck you.
Ooh.
But you weren't gonna.
Well, I could see why J-Man would own up to this, because part of his name starts with a J, just like Josh. You gotta admire the connection there.
Okay, before I go any further as to what Josh did and why Josh did it, did anybody have any thoughts on finding out it was Josh?
Me.
Yes, J-Man, I know you've been waiting for this for 5-6 chapters. Go for it.
I quit. No. I have no emotions. I'm done. No. So it didn't surprise me, because anyone who wants to play like a porn star is mentally insane. Okay, no, I'm gonna take that part back, because I might get in trouble for that. But anyone who goes back and sets up a reunion with friends at a place where their sisters died a year before is somewhat insane. So, to that aspect, I thought, okay, well, this guy's just absolutely nutmegs. And we found out later more along the lines of why he did it. But Willis, what do you have to say?
Remind me of the question again, because I'm in a commons where people are walking by and they're trying to like talk to me, and I'm like, shh,
Okay.
you know.
We're at the point where Josh just revealed that he is the one who has been harassing
Wait, I
and
thought
setting
you weren't
things
at
up.
work. Where are you? I'm confused.
I am at a college dormitories, and I am out in the commons where I
Oh,
play my PS4. So like some people may pass by here and there, but it's a Sunday, so it's slow here today.
okay.
So your initial reaction to finding out Josh had set it all up?
First, it
We
was
haven't
shock. Yeah,
we
first it
haven't
was
gotten
shocked. It
yeah,
was
we haven't gotten
shocked.
to why yet. We haven't gotten to why yet, just the reaction on finding out it was Josh.
Shocked. Just shocked.
Because I know a lot of streamers that have been doing it, and I love this reaction. It happens like 95% of the time. Josh will take his mask off, and a lot of people have gone, wait, what? I saw him get ripped in half. And it's like, yep, keep playing. And that'll bring it into the reason why. And the reason why, I won't get too specific, but the reason why is because he was upset that his sisters died due to the prank. And he basically wanted revenge. As to what those are, you'll have to figure those out yourself by the point in this game. But he basically just wanted revenge for, what happened to his sisters with all the well, I can't really specify that. But he wanted them to feel fear and panic and everything his sisters went through. So that was basically his whole revenge ploy. And honestly, I think myself, the way he did it was rude, ridiculous. He was making people uncomfortable. But from his standpoint, I can understand why he would be mad and angry at these people. I think the way he did it was underhanded and uncalled for. I don't condone what he did, but I do, in his mind, kind of feel where he's coming from. I don't know. I don't know if you guys think that makes any sense.
Yeah, so I've said this, and this is about people in general, and in video games too. I have a tendency to, and we've talked about why this is such a big thing in Life is Strange, and I think when we did Dylan Winfrey in our interview, and I think Trey said it too, in Life is Strange, there's a character that almost everyone can relate to. And here, I can't personally relate to Josh because I haven't lost brothers or sisters. So I don't know what that's like. Right? But I can understand, I know what losing someone is like. And I can understand when you lose someone. I don't think he handled it the right way. I think there could have been better ways of handling it, but we find out more about why he couldn't handle it that way and more later. But I think he could have handled it a different way. But I feel some sympathy at this point, yes. Willis?
Well, I'd probably be on the same boat there too, actually. Um, I guess the other thing to consider a factor here is it's not so much of just losing someone, but how you lost someone, and that need for revenge that he felt because of how he lost his sisters was what really was that spark to that revenge. So I can't relate in that way. Just like you, Jay, man, I've lost people too, but from more natural causes of death than just something like that. Even though that was an accident, still.
Now, would revenge be on your mind? Would that be the first thing, or it wouldn't even enter your head?
It probably would be because I am a getting type, but the way I was raised, though, I wouldn't get even though those are my natural instinct thoughts to have.
Right.
So yeah, the way I was raised. If mom and dad are listening, I love you. The way I was raised, same as Willis. I wouldn't do it that way, but my natural instinct would be the same.
Well,
Just
I mean,
because I feel like for a lot of people it is.
yeah. Well, rightfully so too. I mean, that's the brain's first natural instinct is, you know what? You hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you.
I mean, we've experienced that a lot recently. So
I mean, yeah, it is childish, but I mean, it's normal human emotion.
yeah. We want to keep going. We almost.
Yeah, we're at the beginning of chapter 8.
How much longer do you think we got? Like maybe
No.
what, 20 minutes, half hour?
A little bit longer. Because
Okay.
right before chapter 8, we've got Josh's lockup. This is where Chris and Mike lock him up in in the barn, just next door in the barn of where the saw trap supposedly ripped Josh in half. And at this point, this is where you really see Josh start to lose it. I mean, he thinks he's a healer. He brings people together. He showed them a side of themselves that they didn't even know they had. He's basically saying that they're all dumb and stupid. I mean, he's sitting there talking about 3 hostages released or your money back. Can't tie them up if they just wiggle around. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was kind of humorous. And it's like, oh my gosh, he's being okay. I went to college for psychology. As far as my personal feeling,
check your DMs real quick.
As a psychological standpoint, it's not funny because he's going through PTSD and mental trauma of, you know, he got caught, what's been going through his head, what's happened. And I mean, you got to feel bad for him at this point because this is where his mind just starts to break and break down. But the normal human side of me was like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. He's gone up the deep end, and it's hilarious because some of the comments he makes is just things you would not expect in a horror game.
I thought he was drunk.
Huh? You thought he was what?
I thought he was drunk.
You actually thought he was drunk? Seriously?
I mean, by the stuff he was saying, yes.
Oh.
I thought he was drunk.
That's valid. He was drunk in the prologue, so it's not too far of a stretch.
He wanted to party like porn stars in the prologue. How do you know he didn't want to party like a porn star here? I mean,
right?
You can't. Willis, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Willis, did you have any thoughts about his lockup and in things he was saying?
You know, the only thing I will applaud him for, back to what Stephen is saying, and he did make them see a side of themselves, but in ways he kind of pushed them too, kind of like in a coaching way, but it's a really kind of a, there could have been another way of doing it, and as far as how, I don't know, but it definitely could have been done better than that. But the only thing I probably agreed about what Josh's action is, in ways he pushed him past things that they didn't think they could do.
Right.
And I think that's about it, because I can see his perspective, but with the PTSD and all that going through his head, you know, what can you do from his perspective?
True.
So those are my thoughts there.
Okay. So now we're in chapter 8, and the beginning of it is basically Mike and Chris go back to the cabin from tying up Josh, and there's a knock on the door. People are afraid to answer the door because they don't know who it is, but the door ends up...
This is where I come in.
Okay. Wait, you're the flamethrower guy? Really?
I'm someone in this game. I just don't know who. They never gave me my acting role. They just said be in the game.
I think J-Man's so lost and confused he has to be everyone at this point.
So maybe he is Josh. I don't know who my personality is. But no. The flamethrower guy comes in and he tells everybody, sit down, calm down. He's going to say what he has to say. This is where you find out that cannibalism in the mountain range is a Native American mythology, or legend, if you will, about anybody that eats the flesh of another human becomes a Wendigo. And these are creatures that have long nails instead of fingers and really sharp teeth. Anybody who's played Resident Evil, they look kind of like Lickers or the pit bulls.
Yeah.
Can
I?
So yeah.
So
I hold on. I thought. Well, I didn't think he was going to go that far into depth, but
yeah, right.
This is where you also find out that the flamethrower guy was not trying to kill Hannah and Beth. He was actually trying to help them up, and it's not till this point that you actually realize
it. Can we just say who the flamethrower guy? No.
Thoughts on Mr. Flamethrower Man?
Damn it. Okay.
What are your thoughts on yourself, Mr. Flamethrower Man?
I was gonna say, since we're not gonna admit who it really was, why don't we just say it was me? Thoughts on myself. You know, I tried to control him, right? There was a lot going on. I died in the end. This is my spirit. This is my spirit ghost. I don't know if
we haven't.
I died.
We haven't gotten to your spot yet.
Well, this is still my spirit ghost, and it's bad. They should have found different ways. I think Josh took it the wrong way. I was just trying to help. Okay, I'll be. I'm done now. No, so I think. I mean, I really don't want to say anything here because I don't want to give away who it is. But I found it interesting who it was. That's all I'm going to say. Willis?
So my thoughts on the Flamethrower Man.
Just in the lodge for right now.
Just in the laps?
The lodge.
Oh, Laps Lodge. Okay. I didn't know what I thought at the time. I'll just say that. It's just because so much has happened up to that point. And as my previous comment was, there's a lot of different elements of things to wonder about, of Josh being the one that's set up all these things, and then there's a flamethrower dude, and now we're talking about the Wendigo. So by that time, my brain was trying to really still process what was going on.
Right, like who's the main villain? Which one do I go with?
I exactly. That was the question I was asking. I'm like, well, who's guilty here of this whole thing? Because at first I thought it was Josh after he revealed himself, and then I'm hearing Wendigos, which at the time I didn't know what it was, and then there's this flamethrower dude. I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Right. See,
it's a party.
The way I looked at it, and if you pay attention to all these characters, I haven't said this up to this point, but Matt's like your athletic popular guy. Mike is the class president. Jess is the ditzy blonde who likes to sleep with everybody.
Emily's the hoe. I'm sorry.
Emily.
Well, technically, I think she was the valedictorian for Emily, but I agree with J-Man in a way.
Right. Well, Emily Emily was
Sorry,
kind
this
of
is a
the stuck-up.
PG-13 Christian Twitch server.
It never says she's a cheerleader, but she's kind of like the stuck-up cheerleader.
Kind of.
Ashley is like your academic scholar, your book nerd, your always gets the good grades.
Ashley
Chris
Tisdale.
Chris is like your joking, run of the mill kind of guy that tends to overdo it once in a while, but he tries to help everybody and he's there for everyone. And Josh is basically, I'm just here, but I want revenge because, I'm the mentally disturbed one. So I mean, it really covers, a wide genre of 80s films. I mean,
Characters, some different characters, yeah.
Yeah, you got Cabin in the Woods, which I thought was a clever way of doing it. You've got monster movies. You've got the revenge plot. You've got the who is it aspect of most horror movies. So I mean, I didn't know there was going to be 3 different people, but the way that they put it in order actually fit with the storyline. And then they added the human experiments, which I thought was interesting. So just the way they infused,
you can mute yourself until they stop talking.
Hold
microphone.
I'm actually going to see if I can move to my room so it's more quiet. Starting to get active right now in the comments, so I can hear you guys better.
Okay.
Well, sorry for our technical problems. Steven, can you Steven?
While Willis is doing that, did you want to say anything about as far as, the inclusion of the characters, the jock, the athletic, the scholar, or they included every single horror genre, like, the revenge, the who did it, the monster aspect of the movie, and how they were able to fuse them all together?
Yeah. First off, Steven, did you get my message? Check your messages.
I did not.
Go check your messages. It's because it just makes it easier, for me to upload it.
Right.
Because if we go over that 2-hour mark, it's hard to upload sometimes.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, we're almost done. And there's not that much in 9. And 10 is kind of...
Yeah, there's 2 and 10, 3 and... There's 3 and 10, 2 and 9, and we got 1 left in chapter 8, so we should be able to pull that off.
Yeah, we'll be fine. So... What was the question? Sorry, the characters? About how they reached...
How they were able to put every type of character in there, and how they were able to transition 3 different types of horror movies into one game.
Doesn't surprise me. Video game creators are really good at doing stuff like that.
Were you amazed at how fluid it was to go from one to the other instead of like making it all separate?
No, I don't.
Because I've heard people say it's like watching a movie.
Things in video games, Steven, you need to work on the interrupting. We're starting to. Things in video games, most things don't shock me, except when people do things like a certain character. Okay, I'll just say it. The one time I've been shocked in a video game was when Kate jumped off the roof in Life is Strange.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Mainly, besides that, video games don't. I'm not gonna say scare me, but I'm gonna say don't surprise me. Willis?
Well, Well, I guess what I was trying to think of is a comparison to, because video games nowadays are becoming so cinematic like movies. So in ways, I wonder if they progressed, following maybe footsteps of how to bring characters together in movies. Because it seems like video games nowadays are really focusing on relational based things between different characters. So that's what I was trying to think of how to say that, and that's kind of all I got right now. I don't have an actual answer, but that's just the thing I thought of.
Okay. I want to mention 2 Easter eggs, and then I'm going to combine the last 2 parts of Chapter 8 into one. In the theater room, you will see different posters, and with it being Wendigos and, cannibalism, and it being the middle of winter and everybody outside, I thought it was interesting that 2 of these movies were called Hypothermia, and the other one was Bitter Feast. I have not watched either, but I do plan to. So with that said, Chris, everybody is told to go down to the basement until dawn because these things don't hunt during the day. It's only at night, and they can't see you if you're standing still. So Chris decides he's going to rescue Josh. The flamethrower guy goes with him. They go to check Josh. Josh is missing. They're supposed to go back to the lodge. Flamethrower guy ends up getting... There's a little bit of gore here. But anyway, everybody is in the basement. And while they're in the basement, they look at the old guy's bag. And in the bag is a journal about Wendigos, how to battle them, that they're full of armor, and you got to burn their armor off before you can kill them. They know how to act like humans because they study them. That if you get bit by a Wendigo, you don't change. And, it's pretty informative if you read, every page. And it doesn't go over everything, but it does. If you read it, it actually is quite informative as far as the lore goes. So, anything on the rescue attempt or the book in the basement?
Is this the end of Chapter 8? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. You're adding. Okay, I got it. You're combining.
I combined the yeah.
Okay, so we can get done with it.
Okay, first the flamethrower guy being deheaded, and then the thought about the book in the basement.
I was gonna. You cut me off.
Oh, I didn't know.
Willis is like, I never want to be in this again. Are you having fun though?
I actually am. This is the first a discussion of any video game recorded I've actually ever done. So this is all new and exciting to me. Kind of in awe, kind of a thing when you do something new.
Yeah.
Right. I had the same feeling my first podcast.
So, flamethrower. Can we talk about how I'm dead yet?
Yes, that would be the deheading.
We'd be happy to talk about you being dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, too soon.
Wait, if he's dead, he shouldn't have an opinion.
Never trust a dead man's thought because there's nothing there. No.
Okay, Willis, go ahead. No. So for whatever part of my life is still alive, I don't really actually have that much thought except I was confused on why the guy died. I didn't feel like it was necessary for him to die.
Right. And especially since it says that he had been hunting these for many years, and he's been able to keep them away. And the one time he finds Wendigos, he's automatically killed. That was like a flaw. I'm like, the game didn't really think that part out.
Yeah. Willis?
I actually have to second what you guys are saying. I was shocked too because he is the one who knows them the most. He's trained to be alert for these things, how to hunt them, because he's documented them for so many years. For me, if the game would have found a way to maybe not so much not kill him, but not kill him so soon like that after that we just finally get to know who he is.
Right.
It would have created a different scenario, at least they're being chased and he has to keep protecting the teenagers there. If that probably would have been the part where he died, I think that would have been more of it. But just to have it happen so quick like that.
Yeah.
And those are my thoughts on that.
Did you guys have any thoughts on the book about the Wendigos?
I actually did, yeah, because I think as Steve and I were talking yesterday, I actually did a college report on the Wendigos based from this video game, actually. So, and I used part of that information as for my project, so that was actually pretty cool. So, being that we're covering this topic, I'm kind of thinking of those two of the college project I did.
J-Man?
Yeah, no, I don't really have any thoughts on the book except that I thought it was very insightful. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. This is where Mike finds out that there's no key to the cable car. Josh has to have it. Josh has to have it, and he decides he's going to go get it from the Wendigo. Huh?
You didn't even say it was chapter 9.
They did. I said we're moving to chapter 9.
I don't listen to my own podcast hosts.
Apparently. So Mike says he's going to get the key from the thing's bedroom, and we're all going to get out of here. So these people have never met the Wendigos. Mike decides he's going to go back to the sanatorium, which is where they live, is in the mines underneath the lodge in the sanatorium. Why they connect, I have no idea. But basically, the whole thing of the sanatorium is Mike ends up meeting these Wendigos, and he comes face to face with them. You find a shotgun, and he makes his way through the sanatorium. While all this is going on, well, do you guys have any thoughts about Mike meeting the Wendigos?
Yeah, if that was me, I wouldn't even go there. I would have just stayed in the basement. But at the same, I'm trying to remember what those guys were thinking of Josh at the time, because I tied him up by then, and they left him at the cabin.
Right.
I have to think about that more. I'll let J-Man speak out.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but I was watching a YouTube video, and it signed me out of my YouTube and went into my Twitch.
Okay, that's weird.
So, I don't think that's ever happened before. I don't know what the hell just happened, and I'm extremely confused.
Okay.
I don't really... The Wendigo scared the shit out of me at first. Because I was like... When I heard Wendigo, I automatically thought it was going to be like Walking Dead zombies. And then when I figured out that it wasn't, I was kind of scared for about 2 minutes, and then I was like, okay, this is just awkward now. No, besides that, how many points do we have? We have what do we have? We have 2 for, we have how many?
We have one left for chapter 9, 1 left for chapter 9, and 3 for chapter 10.
Okay, yeah, we'll be fine then.
See, my thought on the Wendigos.
Can we combine? We'll combine the ones in chapter 10 together, and then we'll.
Well, that can be done. That can be done in 2 sections.
Okay.
I can't really combine all 3 of them because there's 2 separate situations.
Okay. That works.
For me, I had seen a movie called Wendigo, which talked about a furry woodland creature that went around killing people, which was not at all based on Native American lore as much as I thought. Because I saw these things and I'm like, this is so different from the movie. But yeah. Willis, did you have? I think Willis already went, didn't he? Willis, did you have any thoughts on the Wendigo?
I don't think so. No. I guess just adding more to my old college project. I later found out more just of the lore itself. That's probably about it.
Okay, this one's very.
It did scare the shit out of me too. Just like J-Man's like, whoa.
Right. Well, I won't get into that. I'll let people get scared on that on their own. That leads me to the cave to warn Mike. I mean, briefly, I just want to touch this. Basically, Sam and the remaining people are going down the cave. They're going to try and warn Mike about the Wendigo because they've never seen it. Apparently, they read something in the book that Mike didn't see. Basically, Sam goes on ahead and tells the rest of them to go back to the lodge. And that brings us to
Who
chapter
is this
10.
Wendy? Who is this Wendy everybody talk about? And why does she
Wendy.
have an it why does she have an it go at the end of her name? Is that a last name?
That's going to be your girlfriend if you keep going the way you're going.
Oh, wow, too soon. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's not too much about the cave. Just basically Sam going to help Mike.
Guess what, guys?
What?
We've been till dawn. We have one chapter left. I don't know how Willis is still here.
We've lived most of the night, not until dawn quite yet. But so starting off chapter 10, Josh was thrown. You see Josh fall into the cave, and this is where his mind just goes full blown crazy. He sees his dead sisters, and they talk about how they can be a family now. He's back with them. He's hallucinating. He wants to know why his sisters are doing. You see the pig come out of the wall. You see a lot of gore. If you have a weak stomach, please do not play this part or cover your eyes or something because it is very gruesome. Yeah, any thoughts on the whole Josh going mentally crazy, full-blown gone by this point?
Yeah. I knew eventually he was going to go mentally crazy anyway. So it didn't really surprise me, I guess.
That's fair.
I kind of expected him to go mentally crazy. What about you, Willis?
I think for me, that was like the peak of like gore and scary the game that was there. Especially every time you turn around and try and go somewhere else when their sisters keep popping up and how they kept popping up and the funny thing is, the first time I played through these parts was by myself, like in the middle of the night. So like,
oh, you got the full blast.
I got the full ride of. I can't sleep tonight because of that game because I played it by myself, and at the time I was living in the middle of the woods of all things.
Oh God!
By myself in a nice big empty house and playing on a 70-inch screen TV, and I'm like, all sorts of thoughts. And on top of that, back in 2016 when I first played this, we had another big earthquake at the time. So I was like, so many thoughts are going through my mind after playing that game, trying to sleep, couldn't sleep, and then waking up to an earthquake in the middle of the night. So I had the full package and some unexpected benefits that went with it too.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The last two kind of go hand in hand. Basically, Mike takes Josh back to the lodge through the way they came in the mines because Josh would never be able to make the climb up and out of the mines. So Mike's got to take Josh back out the way they came. Upon going out, Josh ends up running into a Wendigo who he thinks is fake, which turns out to be not fake. Sam makes it back to the cabin. Mike makes it back to the cabin alone. And he tells Sam that Josh didn't make it. Real briefly, did you guys have any thoughts on that before I actually get to the last piece?
Josh not making it. I am Josh, so I didn't make it. No. Look. Again, I felt like I knew it was coming. So, at this point, the whole family's dead. Pretty much. So, right. What are you gonna do? I know that sounds like an asshole thing to say, but they're all dead. So,
like his sister said, at least they're family now.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a Josh thing to say there, Mr. J-Man.
What do you mean?
Well,
I'm
they're all
gone.
dead. What can you do? Oh, you know
You're
what's funny
dead.
though? You know what's
You're
funny?
dead. You can't tell me what to do anymore.
You can't tell me what's that part.
J-Man, you can't tell us what to do anymore. No, he can actually.
Yeah, you can. But Willis, go ahead.
Repeat the question again. We kind of detoured a little bit there.
Back to the lodge. Josh and Mike. Josh can't make the climb, so he's got to take Josh back to through the cave. Mm-hmm. He ends up back at the lodge by himself with Sam,
and he's dead.
So it's more of the thoughts on Josh not making it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I first played it, I didn't really have hard feelings for Josh not making it back because of what he did. So, but after playing it the second time through, I had a little more empathy. But I guess understanding, but still felt the same, even though I played it the second time through.
Right.
So those are mine.
So the last part is Mike and Sam go into the cabin. They search the basement for any survivors. By this point, why it took them so long to get back through the cave, I have no idea. But by this point, they've made it through the cave. They're back in the basement. And everybody goes upstairs only to find that there are essentially 3 Wendigos in the cabin. And Mike has the idea to use the lights, which apparently now works since the generator's been in over 6 chapters. Nobody's thought to check these lights. Game logic. He decides he's going to break the light bulb. The light bulb is going to create a spark. They're going to blend that with the fireplace's gas, and they're going to blow the whole cabin. So, when done correctly, everybody can get out. And just as you get out, the helicopter comes to save the day. Yay! So,
it's usually when they show up, yeah.
Right? It's like every police movie. It's like every show when the police are called. Oh, the crime's over. Hey, here they come.
Yeah, right? They do that in Lord of the Flies, too. they just show up at the end after everyone's already gone through hell and came back, and then they're just like, hey, look, we're here. And I'm just like, yo, where the hell have you been for the last 8-9 chapters?
You know, the perfect way to describe law enforcement in that sense, we'll call them the blister. They show up when the work's done.
Okay, we can get back on this in a second. Did anybody have any thoughts about the Wendigo section of the cabin?
The fight scene.
The fight scene.
Oh, that was probably my favorite because it was like watching an action movie.
Right?
And can we talk about like playing through the controls of that too, or
I kind of want to try and keep that to the players' imagination.
Just thought I'd check, but to me it was like watching. It went from something scared to something entertaining.
Yeah.
So combining the two elements, to me, that was the exciting part of the game.
What did you think about the light bulb trap? Or the fact that these light bulbs probably have worked since the generator came on, and nobody thought for 6 chapters to try these things.
I'd probably say I'm on the same boat as that. As far as why didn't they just do it before?
All right. We apparently need to work on the interruption because Steven is high and can't figure out how to not do it anymore. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we were talking about the Wendigo part was really cool, and again, like we said, we'll let people figure out the controls. But like Willis said, like it's like it's like a Marvel fight scene, and it's like it really grabs your attention, and being able to play it, and then like if you mess it up, like you have to play it again, and it's really cool.
And that, folks, Oh, I forgot you guys. Sorry. A little early. I'm so excited for this game.
Uh, we're gonna briefly talk, touch. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna briefly touch on. We talked about before we end real quick. We talked about law enforcement showing up at the weirdest times. I'm about to die. Here you go. I'm already dead. Come to my house and save me. Like, come on. That's pretty much what this was. And they do the same thing in we talked about it. Every cop show, every Lord of the Flies, there was only one Lord of the Flies, but I digress. I don't know. I just find that funny. Willis?
Well, I already made my comment earlier. I called them the blister. They showed up when the work's done.
Steven?
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've done everything right, everybody has survived until dawn. Yay!
No,
And if
I
you
died
obviously,
5. I died
and,
8. I died 9 chapters ago.
and obviously, you didn't save everybody. You suck. No, I'm just kidding. I actually,
Jesus.
in all honesty, I myself lost 2 characters, but I only count one because the other one did not actually. It said I moved, and I did not move. It was completely level. It was straight. It didn't move. I had firm grip on it, and it said I moved, and I got killed. So I only count one.
You know,
although
the trick with that, though, is even though you keep it completely still, the thing will purposely move to try and force you to keep it in, the bubble.
Yeah, I'm figuring that out.
I found that out the first time I played. I'm like, I'm not moving. I have a very steady hands, and the second time I played through, I start picking up on that.
See, I noticed the shape at the top of the controller was the same as the don't move. So I figured as long as I kept it in that position, it can't do nothing.
Yeah, then they make you second guess yourself for a moment before you figure it out.
Wrong.
Well, all right. So we
hopefully
so
you all
we're gonna-
survived. Hopefully you all have survived with us until dawn.
we have a quick announcement real quick. Before we head off. So for best interest, Willis, you're 5. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's a good first impression there, sir. Good thing your name was Josh, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so we have this. Steven, do you want to explain, because you're better at explaining stuff than I am?
Wait, which part am I explaining?
Well, we already talked about Coffee and Charlotte at the beginning of the show. So what
Right.
else do we have to explain? We finished Until Dawn.
Oh.
What? Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking to clarify our thoughts on Life is Strange 2.
No, not that. That's going to be a separate episode.
Okay, then I have no idea what you're referring to right offhand.
And
Oh, yes. So, as most of you know, for Life is Strange Before the Storm and Until Dawn, we've had a lot of joy filming these. We enjoy you listening to them and giving us feedback. Filming, recording, whatever. But we have decided, mutual understanding, that instead of going in order one after the other, we will be finishing these games, but they will not be one after the other like they used to be. There will still be episodes. We will put them in their appropriate playlists, but they may or may not be uploaded right after each other.
Yeah, I can't really wood that any better. Like we said before, we're experiencing new horizons, and just because of certain circumstances that have happened doesn't mean we're going to stop exploring those new horizons. We still plan on it. We don't know how much of a reaction we'll get when we upload this. We're hoping that, despite, again, certain things, you're all still with us, and I think you all still will be with us because you're all awesome. But, so we sort of as sad as this is, have less to promote now. So this might actually not take as long. But I guess it's time to wrap this up. So Willis, thank you so much for being here. Anything you want to say?
Well, as I told you guys before, this session here, like it was a privilege to join Twitch, and just a couple months into it, and then eventually it progressed to that we followed the same people, and next thing you know, I'm being requested by you guys, and I'm like, oh, and so I decided to take a chance and pursue further, and it provided this opportunity, which I'm grateful for, because I never done something like this before. So you guys are privileged at the same time to provide this opportunity for me too. So it goes both ways. So I'm thankful for how this worked out.
I guess we'll do you first, Willis. Where can people reach out to you?
They can reach out to me on my Instagram, WPateIV. That's the same thing for my Twitter, WPateIV, or at WPateIV, and Facebook is just my name, Willis Pate the Fourth.
Okay. Is that it? That's all you got? That's all you got? Just making sure?
Yeah.
You can follow us. Follow. I always say follow. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Life is Feels Podcast. Steven, where can you email us?
You can email us at lifeisfeelspodcast@gmail.com.
You can follow me or the official Life is Feels podcast at JWM Powerhouse. You can follow shop at threadless.com/lifeisfeelspodcast. Steven, where can people reach out to you?
I am on Twitter at Stephen Alch, ULCH 13.
You can follow on music part. I think we used your song before it gets to me. So thank you for letting us use that as well. You can follow her on Twitter at Hawk Music, Hawk with an E for all of these. YouTube.com/user. Okay, no, I'm reading that because that's not right. Just go to YouTube and search Riley Hawk Music. SoundCloud, search Riley Hawk. HawkMusic.com with an E. Her friends and her do a sort of like a podcast. It's YouTube Team Turtle Ducks, where they talk about video games and stuff. Their last one was about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Light trailer. You can see them also on their YouTube. Her friends Desma and Molly, who I guess I won't play episode 1 of Life is Strange 2. Follow them on Twitch TV/Team Turtle Ducks. Where can you find a person who made the podcast logo?
That would be at Steve. Oh, shoot. It escapes me at the moment. Can you help me out?
At Steve_fantasy. You can find his website at stevefantasydesign.com. You can check out our friend Kayla at KLM008 on Twitter. And you can follow her on Twitch on twitch.tv/KLM08. For J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13.
And Willis.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 12 of the Life is Feels podcast. If you survived, made it, and on. If you haven't survived, well, I love you. But remember, folks, if you survived, if you're not survived, life is, feels. Thanks for listening.